You're very smart.
Let me communicate
You're very
with you
smart.
digitally.
There you go. That's intelligence for you. Back to the action.
So, I disagree with what the UK was made. Explosion from nothing. It's very complicated, and I agree with you in terms of simple. It's very simple. I agree with you in terms of the UK was paying a lot more than it should.
Not just that, many things.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But the fix is not to leave. As soon as you get poached, you're not gonna disregard him.
If he takes advantage of you and disrespects him, doesn't listen to you, try all your life, then what?
That's human nature.
And you got your children.
Be better than them. Be better than them.
Your brother.
Be better
You're
than
gonna come. You keep your way, I'll keep my way.
What if the system was designed?
Why?
That's lazy.
Why is
That's
it lazy?
That's lazy.
Lazy is sitting there and just taking.
Yeah, but
Socialism is lazy. Yes, it is.
so
Hello, my brother and sister. I've got some information for you, sir. Electromagnetic universe. You know you've been lied to by the authorities, right? You know that.
I'm good.
You should not be wearing this chin strap. Have you broken your chin, sir? Is it broken your jaw?
I wear it because it's a choice,
But
an
what?
individual choice.
How is that protecting you? Now on your
Right
chin.
now, it's
yeah,
not,
right now.
because
Yeah.
it's not.
So do you have like a detector that can tell you when it's like high in the area or something?
It's not about being high in the air. It's about my individual choice.
Do you know that God never made that? Your creator never intended for you to wear
I
that?
made that either, but you're holding it.
I know, but it's not stifling my breath.
Well, actually, it is because the components in there are dangerous to all of us.
What?
The components in there are dangerous to us.
Oh, dangerous. Yeah, they might be. I'll accept that.
They might be,
And I
they
don't, so
are.
I don't sleep with it. But I wouldn't. But breath is the reason for life. I mean, it's the most important thing we have, more than water. Breath.
Anything that we make
Yeah.
can be bad for us, and even things that we don't make. If you drink too much water,
That could be bad for you. You distill your water. Don't drink tap water, brother. Good. Breathe fresh air. It's better for you.
Hello, you poor lot down the bottom there, towards the Barnes Head. Here we are.
You worried what you tread in?
No.
No, he's a very brave.
No. You know what? Generally, people worry more about glass, I think, than dog poo. But dog poo washes and the glass generally tends to be like a tiny little shard, and it'll be uncomfortable. But you never get a gash, unless you're walking through some, there's broke half bottles and you happen to stand on that. But that's not really how the streets are around and about. But the odd little shard, yeah. Yeah, sure.
I agree with you.
I don't think it's a waste of money.
I agree with you.
It's a waste of money. I disagree with armies and force of killing all of them.
Yes.
I come from Iraq, I'm a prime example. I'm against all bloodshed.
You'll be happy to. In 1993-4, I had 3 Iraqi refugees live with me in Cape Town.
Kuwait war.
Yeah, from the war. They'd come away on a ship, 7 of them, but 3 of them came and stayed with me.
Yeah,
Mohammed,
because of
Bala,
Saddam.
yeah.
See, I
But they like keeping us at war with each other, and they create the reasons. You see, they create the shortage, or they say, like it says, oh, it's too expensive, or England's paying too much, or Britain's paying too much to be in the EU, or these are taking this. Ego, and also shortage. So if I say it's going to cost you, look, these people are coming over and they're using something that's yours and all this. No. It's all ours, and we should be entitled to unlimited wealth based on the natural value of this earth.
There is too much wealth.
Yeah.
It's not
but
distributed.
And it's held and kept and controlled and so on.
Yeah, we have so much hunger, I can't, maybe, I don't know. I don't believe the African country is as poor as they sound.
No.
They're not.
They got
and
so
you
much
said
natural.
you come from Angola.
Yeah. Oh, no,
it's a
South
country
Africa.
full of diamonds.
Man, full of diamonds, and there's so much land and so much potential for growing.
What Portugal did.
Yeah, they destroyed it.
Take the resources. And now they're poor. They don't have money. Where has the money gone?
Yeah.
And this is the reality. And that's why I believe in the day of judgment. That's why I believe in God. Because I see the fellow human beings, how they behave. And when I compare it to the scripture, I see it makes reason, So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that might be, I'm not fearful, but I do try and walk right.
Yeah, no. There is definitely everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like a flyer, my friend? You've been listening intently for a while.
Very interesting.
Taking a lot of information on board. I appreciate it. I tell you what, I was in South Africa for a while last year, for a year, And the Africans have so little trouble. When I say to them, I'm standing on the beach, I say, you know, this water, it's level as far as we can see. And as far as we can travel, this water remains level. They say, yeah, that's no problem. I have no problem with that. The Africans are not as brainwashed by this idea that we live on a globe. They don't believe the man, the white man, so much, you know. So they don't believe all of his science, all of his stuff, you know. They're much closer to God. You can't blame them. No, you can't blame them. So it was very fertile. For me, it was very fertile territory, going there and walking up and down the beach, talking to people and saying, yeah, we are the source. We are the expression of the Most High, you know. And we are meant to be given divine right, divine sovereignty, honor, respect, your share. All of that should be handed to you, not lies, lies, lies. You're subject, you're slave, you're this, you're black, you're Muslim, you're this, you're that.
Spiritual sickness.
Yeah.
You know, there is no compulsion in religions. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah.
You cannot believe in God. You can believe in God. Just do not kill. Do not hurt other people. You know, give charity. You know, all these things.
Yeah. I need to help my friend.
If anything, I believe there might be water up
Be
there.
back.
The Bible. Yeah,
Do you believe in stars? Exist?
yeah,
Stars we can
solar
observe.
luminescence. They're
Yeah,
solar
we can observe.
luminescence.
So they're being illuminated from Earth.
No, solar luminescence is electricity in the sky. If you go on YouTube,
What?
look up
So
star in
what
the
about
jar.
the moon? What illuminates the moon?
It's got its own light.
Self-illuminating.
It's
So
self-illuminating.
why does the light creep across in the
I've just
crescent?
explained this to you,
didn't
and you're
explain
just
anything.
being no.
You
You're just
don't
here
explain
to
anything.
antagonise. I just gave you a
Don't
clear
rise.
demonstration.
You didn't.
And you don't get it.
so
So because you don't get it,
Mate,
you're trying to
you
ridicule
so
me
did it.
and try
Okay.
and laugh at me.
And all right, yeah.
Give it to us again.
Childish,
Give it to
mate,
us again if we missed it. What changes the shape of the moon?
We have a theory on that. We don't have. No. You're haranguing my friend. He's a newer member than I. I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you.
I don't want a question. I want an answer. So I've just asked a
Shape of the
question.
moon change.
I want an answer. Answer the question.
What is your question?
Right. So what accounts for the moon moving from a crescent to a full moon?
I think it's an electromagnetic effect.
Electromagnetic. Where's the illumination coming?
Before we can get into theorizing about how
No, we're
it
not
works,
theorising.
we
You
have
said
to.
electromagnetic effect. How does this result in illumination?
This is.
How does the illumination happen?
I don't know, but I'm going to get back to how we believe.
No.
I don't know. I'm willing to say that. But can you tell me why the shaded side of the moon or the shadow side of the moon during the daytime is the same color as the sky?
Say again.
Can you tell me why the shaded part of the moon, when a half moon, for example, that I can see in the daytime, why it's the same color as the sky?
It's not the same colour as the sky.
It is the same color as the sky. You haven't been looking.
It appears to be because
It
we're looking through the
appears to
sky.
be. It
But
appears
it's
to
not
be.
the same colour as the sky.
But it's observable that. You're saying that it appears to be, but it's not really that. How
we're
do you
viewing it
explain
through a
that?
filter. We're viewing it through the filter of our atmosphere.
And how far is the moon from here?
250,000 miles.
200, close enough. I'll give you that. 235. And can you tell me why the moon rolls like this, which we can observe? How it is that the moon is rolling through the sky? Yes. You haven't observed that either?
No.
Yeah, it's time for you to wake up, young man. It's time for you to wake up.
I've never
It's
seen
time
the moon
where
roll.
the moon rolls,
How long
and you
does
can
it
observe
roll?
it. It rolls at half the speed of the hour hand of your clock, and you can
like that?
And yes, and you can. You can't see the whole.
like that.
No. You can see it do that if you take what I call I call the rabbit's ears that you see in the UK. You can see it rolling clockwise. Let me finish my point. You can see it rolling clockwise in the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. How do you explain that with your model?
Your claim is what?
No, it's not my claim, it's my observation. And this you can repeat
and your-
yourself.
your
The
claim about the
observation
observation is what?
is that the moon rolls like this every night, and it rolls counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. How do you
I've
explain
not
that?
heard of that.
No, observe it. I'm offering you
I've not
something
heard
to...
of that. I'm not going to comment.
Well, it's not like...
I don't know that's true. I'm not a moon expert. I just
Yeah.
like the moon.
Yeah.
So how do you account for the fact that when you're on the equator, the crescent of the moon is that way, and when you're in the northern hemisphere, say the Arctic Circle, the moon is present that way? How do you account for
Yeah,
that?
I can't account for that in
No, you can't.
the
Not
globe
with the flat
model.
Earth you can't.
Yeah, in the flat Earth you can. There are
just said you
theories.
can't.
No, there are theories.
Come on then, let's have it.
You don't get to hear them until you have dealt with the fact that water is level. And you can't get over
you
the
been
fact
to
that water is level.
Hunstanton?
Where's that?
It's on the south side of the Wash.
Okay.
Have you been there?
No.
I'd suggest you go there because what you can do,
Yeah.
you can stand on the beach at Hunstanton. There's a convenient set of steps up a cliff.
Yeah.
okay, which takes you about 100 feet up. Okay. So you can stand on the beach at Hunstanton and look across the gap to the coast on the other side of the wash. Okay. Note what you see. You can even take a picture. Okay. Then you can go up the steps to the top of the cliff and look across to Hunstanton against the wash, where I think it's Great Yarmouth. Is it not Yarmouth? It's
What's the purpose of this abusive relationship?
Forget the name of the holiday town. There's a holiday town there, but you can see more when you go up the top.
Wow, you look like a smart guy, but you're not that smart.
Why? What's that?
You don't understand perspective.
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm
Really?
saying. Yeah.
So you understand perspective,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
tell me that's because we live on a globe,
Yes.
not that because you got higher you can see further. Even the guys who made the crow's nest understand that we need to get up high if we want to see far. Even the guys who make
Not further,
lighthouses.
Not further. You're seeing the same distance.
Really?
You're seeing the same distance because you're looking at the coastline.
Yeah.
You're standing on the coast, looking across the wash, at the coast on the other side of the wash.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the same distance.
Yeah.
You're not seeing further.
Really?
You're seeing more.
So how far can you
Because
see?
of perspective.
Yeah, because of perspective.
Because your perspective has changed. You're higher, so you can see further around the curve.
Well, you're adding further round the curve. I'm just saying I can see further. You're assuming
No,
curve.
you can't see further. I'm not talking about distance.
Yes.
I'm talking about how much you can see.
Wow, you look like a smart man, but you're not. Wow. How I know that I can go into a 10-story building or the London Eye and see
I'm not
all the way
talking
to the
about-
coast, my friend.
I'm not
But while I'm
talking
down
about
here at 6 foot,
distance.
I cannot see
not
so
talking-
far.
I'm talking about what you're looking at is the same distance away. Whether you're standing there or there, it's the same distance.
All right. Now, if I'm looking at a buoy or a ship that's at 3 miles from me, and then I'm at the beach and I can see the ship, and then I can immediately go in an elevator up 10 stories. The ship is still 3 miles away, but guess what? I'll be able to see the ship much further as it sails away from harbour. Let me finish. Much further as it sails away from harbour than my friend who's still on the beach. Do you understand that? That is perspective. And now, because I've gone higher,
That is perspective.
and
But it's
angular
perspective
resolution, and angular resolution.
because of the curvature of the Earth.
Okay, well, if I was to do the same experiment on a level table, where I was to take the table, over a camera, put it on the floor of a, let's say, 1,000-foot warehouse, I know that I wouldn't be able to see very far across the warehouse until I raise that camera up. This is how angular resolution works in perspective. It doesn't make it curved. And the same is true, my friend. Let me offer you this because you're struggling.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, there's a P900
I'm only
camera.
struggling, but you're shaking.
There's a P900 camera. There's a P900 camera. You might have heard
Why
of it.
do you
Yeah?
love that camera so much?
Because it disproves your belief that the ship has gone over the curve. Because when the ship goes away outside of my vision, I can see the ship again if I use the P900 camera. But my friends who don't have the camera can't see it. How do you explain that?
You don't need a camera.
How do you explain that? It's gone over.
I don't know. I've
It's
never
gone
used a
over the
P900
curve.
camera.
Okay. But there's
never
plenty.
used one.
Well, there's
I
plenty
don't-
of evidence
I
for the
don't
open
need-
mind.
I
There's
don't
plenty
need
of
a
evidence
camera.
for the open mind to go and look at other people
Okay.
using the same camera.
Come with me to Hunstanton.
Standing on the beach. I've done these examples myself, but I understand you're struggling with this. That the higher I go,
I'm not struggling. You are.
the higher I go, the further I can see. That's a
the
matter
more
of
you
fact.
can see. It's the same
What's the
distance.
difference?
Because what we're looking at is the same distance away. Skegness. It's Hunstanton to Skegness. Okay, it's over the wash.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a curvature there. If you stand on the beach, you can see so much. If you go up 100 feet and look at Skegness, which is the same distance, you can see so much more.
Yeah. So you've increased. How do you You've
account
increased
for
your perspective, and not only that, is it Skegness?
Yeah.
So when you're standing on the beach, you can probably see the beach of Skegness.
You can't see the beach.
You can't.
You can see the tops of the buildings
Okay.
on the beachfront.
Okay. Now, if you took the
But if
P900
you go
camera,
up, you can see the beach.
okay, if you took the P900 camera and pointed it across there, you would be able to see people on the other side.
Have you done it?
I've not done that particular
Well, how do
one
you know?
because I've done similar. So I've not done it on the beach you're referring to, but I've done it on other beaches if you don't mind.
Mate,
So have you done this
the bottom
experiment
line is-
yourself?
the bottom line
Have you
is-
done it yourself?
The bottom line
Have you
is,
done it yourself?
What would it take to prove you wrong?
What would it take me to prove me wrong?
Yeah.
Well, if you could bring me an example of water forming to the outside of a shape, holding itself there underneath a ball, that kind of thing. If you show me that,
Bubble?
What is the difference?
a bubble.
What is the difference?
So you would liken our Earth to a bubble?
Yes.
And is it,
Exactly the same principles of gravity enforced on a bubble, make it bubble shaped, then it makes it earth shaped.
So what surrounds the bubble?
Whatever you like.
No, well, you must have a bubble surrounded by something.
Well, usually air.
You got an air bubble here. Can you show me an air bubble here, sir?
You said surrounds bubble. Surrounds a bubble.
Well, no, because what you're not wanting
What's
to say.
inside the bubble?
No, what you're not wanting to
saying
say
what's
is
inside
that
the bubble?
no. What you're not wanting to say is that the bubble has to be in a liquid.
Sorry?
The bubble has to be in a liquid.
No, it doesn't.
Show me a bubble outside of a liquid.
You can buy a bubble now. I used to be able to blow spit.
So is that soap that's making the bubble, not a liquid?
If he shook his bear up, you'd get bubbles coming out. It's not going to do that.
Yes, and those bubbles would do what? They would rise.
No, it depends what's in them.
What? So bubbles don't rise.
It depends what's in them.
Bubbles don't rise.
It depends what's in
Give
them.
me an example.
Helium. It's lighter than air.
Okay, so helium's a great
Helium
example.
in it will rise.
Yes.
You get bubble with air in it. If you got
A balloon would go up.
it would go off if it had helium in it.
A balloon would go up if it had helium in it. But if it had air in it, what would happen?
It would go down.
It would go down. So what happened to gravity?
Well, that's what makes it go down.
What? And the helium is not affected by gravity?
No, because helium lighter than air.
Sorry? It reaches a point of equilibrium. Good. So everything reaches a point of equilibrium to do with its own buoyancy in a medium. That medium might be water, like the air bubble that you think you live in, and it might be like helium. Helium will rise. Helium. Well, that's what you're giving me an example of.
Why are you saying that?
Your example.
Why are you saying
Well,
that?
because that was your example that
Why
you
are you
cited.
saying
Sir.
that?
You cited that I can give you an example of how water can be around in a bubble.
No, I never said anything like it.
Sure, I asked the man the question. I'm saying that the oceans are flat. The oceans that we have one sea level on all of the earth, and all the mountains on the earth, topographical maps, are all given the same 0 point. Even though the USGS admits that there is a 9-inch difference between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, they're actually just about the same sea level. And so when a ship sails across water, it's on one level, it's not going down, nor is it coming back up. The same is true with our planes. But Earth is flat says a whole lot of things to people. They've been programmed, we've been brainwashed to think that means we think we're living on a disc, which we can fall off the side of. What I say, we're perhaps a lake is a good example of how you can contain water, and within that lake you might have islands, and those islands would be our continents. And you can sail around those east and west. So in that way, I think the water is flat. We don't live on a ball, we live inside of a ball.
So let's say you're like in a ball, and that's where you're living. My question to you is then, can you name any location in this world of yours which occurs at the edge?
There's a story that goes that the Antarctic is the ring around which is the edge of our flat Earth. So the United Nations logo is a good example of that.
It's a logo.
Huh?
It's a logo.
What, the United Nations logo?
You're basing your perspective
No.
of the world on a logo.
No, that map is based on ancient projections that were given of the way. Okay. But I'm suggesting to you.
What keeps the edge cold? What keeps the edge cold?
Well, you see, my smug friend, my young smug friend, what you don't realize is that what I'm offering you here is evidence that the belief that you hold is a lie. How the earth,
What keeps the edge cold?
the water in this bottle will always form level. You can deny that all you like, brother, but it will always form level. And guess what? It will be parallel to the water that's in your tin, the liquid that's in your tin. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that my bottle of water, when it settles, that level will be the same as the level on your bottle of water? Put it next to mine. And guess what? Those two levels are parallel. Every lake on Earth is parallel to the ocean, and that's a fact. And I'd love you to go and prove it otherwise.
You get lakes in the mountains.
And they're parallel. You see, again, you're not that smart. Parallel means it's in the same line. It's not, you get me, yeah? So every lake, as you come down, when it's settled, every lake until it overflows is sea level or level, and parallel to the lake beneath it, and parallel to the lake beneath that, and parallel, guess what, to the ocean aside from tidal movement. So I'm saying that we live, by the way, let me just say that we have one ocean on Earth, according to the USGS. Yes, we call them Indian and Atlantic and Pacific and all these names, but there is only one connected body, not the seas, the ocean. There is one ocean and it's all level. How does it work? I cannot give you the answers to that. I can hypothesize. But Joe, you guys want your priests like Brian Cox to tell you the answers. I'm telling you he's lying to you.
Professor Brian Cox.
Yeah, he's a cock, and he's lying out his fucking ass.
I'm sure you've. Oh, he's lying out.
He's lying out his ass.
You hate someone you've never met.
I just like liars and deceivers. I just like liars and deceivers.
You have verbally abused him on social media.
No, I've not.
And he's ignored you because he's on to something.
I don't have anything to do with Brian's cock.
He's educated, you're not.
Indoctrinated, you mean?
No.
Indoctrinated.
Education.
Water is level.
Do you know anything about education?
Aye.
Do you know anything about education?
You're very smart.
Let me communicate
You're very
with you
smart.
digitally.
There you go. That's intelligence for you. That's me offending your belief. Your religion, sir, is under attack. Your religion, servant, is under attack.
Lord.
What? How can you be a lord when you give yourself to a belief system called Brian Cox and
Heliocentrism? Your mother dropped you on your
Heliocentrism. It's the heliocentric belief that we have being sensitive here.
Look,
you do come from a monkey, sir. This man believes he comes from a monkey, and an explosion gave him this creation. Water is always level. You cannot prove a globe. You can continue with our belief. Go join the Christians and the rest with your belief systems. It minimizes you, little man. Who's next? Who's next? Any questions? Water is level. Water is level. That's what we say. And the largest lake that freezes in the world is over 500 kilometers long, and they ice skate over a level 500 kilometer long Lake Billikal. Look it up, you smiling smug boys. Go look it up. There is not a single photograph of your satellites that you love in space. They're all cartoons given to you by NASA, which is an extension of Disney. You have your minds wrapped around Disney's cock. That's why you are so offended by the idea that water is level. Water is level. Take this bottle, make it 100 miles long. You could still do the same experiment to prove that water is level. You do not live on a globe. You think you live on a globe? You evolved from monkeys. Well done, people. The brainwash is complete. Everything you believe is a lie. Everything you believe is a lie. It's all a lie, from heliocentrism to Darwinism to Newtonian bollocks.
Is everything you're walking on very accurate?
Well, this is a 3-year-old, 4-year-old flyer. I didn't make it, but I got it here to get people's attention.
Okay.
What's the question? This is not my friend who did it. Is a dyslexic.
Your friend,
there's so many mistakes in here.
It would be a shame if your whole argument is about accuracy if you didn't get that fixed. You might want to just mark a little A in there, just to let them know you picked it up.
Have you found curving water?
I'm just saying, excuse me?
Have you found curving water, sir?
Well, I have, but usually it's in a round glass.
So it's only the underside that will be round because it's in a teapot.
You have a belief that I wouldn't argue.
No, I don't have the belief.
I've watched
it's
your
the belief.
And I'm pleased
What's my
for
belief?
you to believe. I'm pleased for you to believe that we do not live on a globe.
Yeah, I know we don't. That's no belief. I know we don't live on a globe.
Okay,
I know it.
I'm happy for you to have
because
that
we've been
knowledge.
lied to about
I just
everything.
don't wish to share it.
Okay.
Okay.
But the water is level. That Coke can, once you break it, there was a thing called thermodynamics that forced the pressure out of that. We have to live in a container.
I got the parallel links.
Yeah.
I'm good with you.
Yeah.
Lots of love.
Yeah. It's electromagnetic.
I don't wish to convince you of anything. I'm happy for you to have your set of beliefs.
Would you like?
Thank you. No, I'm already packed to the limit. But
okay.
Good luck with it.
Any questions out here? Any questions, friends? How are you doing? Any questions?
She's interested about it.
Okay. Well, I was a heliocentrist for most of my adult life. At the age of 47, I came across this theory, this formula for the curvature of water over a globe. Do you know it?
No, I haven't come across it.
We're all told we live on a globe, but none of us are told how much it curves, right? It's a 25,000 mile ball, so it has to have a certain amount of curvature.
It's an oblate spheroid, not a ball.
Okay. But NASA presents us. Does that look like a round? Does that look like an oblate to you? Does that?
It's like a rugby shape.
Yeah, I'm with you. Almost like an egg, don't you think? I think we live in an egg, by the way, not on and outside of an egg. But But when NASA give us these CGI, computer-generated images, do they look oblate to you?
No, they don't.
NASA, Neil deGrasse Tyson even says pear-shaped. He suggests that it's fatter down the bottom than it is at the top. But these are years and years of NASA providing us these composite CGI cartoons, and none of them look like anything other than a perfect sphere. But I won't argue that. I'm not that interested in exactly that. The point I want to make to you, brother, is that there's a formula. If you live on a round thing, if you live on a big football, there's an amount that football's got to bend. That's a fact. And so therefore that should be measurable. That's good science. Measurable. You see something, you hypothesize, you theorize over what it might be, but lastly you have to go and measure it. And you have to repeat that measurement. And I heard that there was this measurement for the curvature of water on a globe, 8 inches per mile squared. Ever heard that before? 8 inches per mile squared. We've even got a version of it here. And that by the time you get to 100 miles, you should be talking about a mile of curvature. But even at 10 miles, 800 inches of curvature. Now you and I can see with our binoculars 10 miles on a clear day. And I can see the beach at 10 miles. According to them, that should be 800 inches, which is a lot of curvature. I should not be able to see beaches. I should not be able to see street lights. I should not be able to see cars at 10 miles over water. Water is always level when at rest. Now we have one big ocean on Earth. It's called Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, but it's one big body of water, connected body of water. And that same connected body of water is like a big swimming pool, like we're in a big lake. And the continents are just stones inside of that lake, rocks inside of that lake. The idea that we can go underneath, walk underneath, fly underneath, take ships underneath, and then come back up and not know that we're actually coming back up. I just flew back from South Africa recently. 11 hours, it's a quarter of the way around the globe. So they say. That's a 90-degree change in my aspect. I started in Africa and I ended in England, but my drink didn't move. My spirit level, digital spirit level, didn't say you've done anything. The gyroscope at the front of the plane didn't account for any change on aspect. Because if that plane does this, the gyroscope will respond to that instantly.
Sounds like you solved it.
Sorry?
Sounds like you solved it.
Solved it?
Yeah.
Well, I know that we don't live on a globe. But solved it, no. There are plenty of theories. You know, I'm a reasonably intelligent man. I'm in my mid-50s. I used to think there was nothing left to find in the world. If you don't mind, I'm talking. There's nothing left to find in the world. And then 7 years later, I find, whoa, this whole science of going to Mars. I thought we were going to find life on Mars. I was such an atheist. I was looking forward to them finding life on Mars, by the way. And then
Why does the moon look round then?
Because it is round.
Just a flat
Is your plate round or is it a sphere?
Pardon?
Is your plate round?
No, it's round. Yeah, it's not a sphere.
Frisbee, round. You use the word round. I see round. Can I say it's a sphere? No, I can't. Am I sure it's not a sphere? No, I'm not. But I see it round, just like you said. And I also see it moving. I see it setting. I see it rising. Just like the language tells us. It rises, it sets, it travels over my head. The Muslims here will tell you, a lot of them will tell you, the Quran says Earth is not moving. When I was a 12-year-old kid, I could read that in the Old Testament. Earth is not moving, according to the Old Testament.
What did you have to add?
Oh yeah, you said the water doesn't move when you're in a plane, right?
When you?
The water stays level when you're on a plane.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a bucket, and a string attached to a bucket,
Yeah.
and you spin the bucket,
Yeah.
the water's going to stay level.
Yeah.
It's the same way.
Yeah. So, you know, when I was 12, 13 years old, my science teacher, this is where I fell out of love with school. I was quite smart up until about then. And my science teacher insisted that the string in the bucket that you just told me about is gravity. Bullshit. Bullshit. There is no fucking rope for gravity. Yeah, there's no rope. You cannot give me a rope and say this mimics gravity.
I wanted to add to the CGI thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are not CGI.
What are
You
they?
know what panoramic picture is? When you take
Panoramic?
when you take multiple pictures and you stitches it together, make one big picture. It's the same way that image works.
Okay, that's what they tell us.
That's a lot of pictures.
But
A lot
what?
of pictures
Let me give you a slightly,
stitched together.
give me a slightly clearer answer. What they do is they take data and they stitch it together. The guy, Rob Simmons, this man here who created the blue marble. Did you create the blue marble? This man here created the blue marble. He's on YouTube telling us how it's done. Why don't you go and look it up? Rob Simmons. You don't want to face the truth, brother, because what they do is they take data. Yes, there are satellites or there's high planes that are flying above taking data sets. But are they able to take a single photo of Earth? No.
Why is everyone lying to us?
Stitching data does that make it false?
See here, with these, I'll answer your question. I'll answer your question. But on the blue marble shots, what the guys who pay attention have noticed is that the Americas are up to 50% smaller in 1 year to another with exactly the same resolution, distance, size, and everything. Why would they lie? Because you are God.
So,
you didn't hear that? You mean to say it again? You are God. You are Christ. You are the expression of the Creator. This is your universe. You are the center of the universe. The sun rises for you, and the moon rises for you. But your sun and moon are not my sun and moon. The luminaries in the sky are your luminaries. No,
you're more pantheist than a flat earth.
No, well, I think that all of the religions and all the science is about diminishing and demeaning you and taking away your crown, the crown of sovereignty that the Creator gave you. So let's just say we're in an electromagnetic bubble, and that electromagnetic bubble is an orange. Now I cut open that orange and I take out one single cell of that orange. Is that cell orange? Yes or no? That single cell of the orange, because you know oranges have like millions of little pockets in them, right? You understand that? You've seen that. So those pockets inside of them, one of those cells is you, but it's no less orange than the whole, just much smaller. So you are the microcosm of the macro. So the woman's monthly cycle is connected to the moon. The sun is the masculine energy here. The moon is the feminine energy here. The lights and so on are connected to the chakras in your body. So the various light systems that are connected to your body are part of the macrocosm. So what they want to hide from you is that you are the center, and each of us is the center of creation. You would not be a slave, you would not be a servant, you would not be paying taxes, you would not be wearing masks, you would not be doing all the things that the system wants you to do if you knew that you were the essence of the Creator.
Doesn't sound that convincing.
I'm not trying to convince you, brother. You ask me a question, that's the answer. You don't have to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. In fact, if you don't go and do your research, I'd have less respect for you.
Why are you here if you're not trying
I'm giving people a message. Do you think that Muhammad and Jesus spoke to people and didn't grin like this? People who in his community didn't look like the face that you got on now, which is like so smug. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to hear what you have to say. It's a lot of intensity.
Eye contact with someone.
At this point, what is real? What is real at this point? Like,
what is real?
If you just jumped out the window, you're gonna die on it.
Yeah.
Do you even know?
Yeah. That's real, man.
Are you sure?
That's real.
Are you sure you will live if you die?
No, I'm not sure. Good luck. No, I'm not sure I would die.
At this point, what is real? What
It's
do I believe?
a ridiculous question. It's a ridiculous question. I can test that. I can take you to a 5th story building and ask you to jump out. Let's test how well you do, right? I can test that. Can you test that the moon is a rock? No, you can't. Can you show me that water is curving? No, you can't, brother. And you know what? When they did the moon landings, they brought back moon rocks. Yeah, moon rocks. And guess what? You can Google this. It was reported by the BBC. The Dutch took their moon rock that was given to them by Neil Armstrong, took it to the insurers, and they said, no, we need to test this, and they found it was an earthbound rock.
One scientist on Earth.
Ouch!
One scientist on Earth.
Ouch! That's very uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
One scientist.
You got to know you're in a belief
about the moon rocks that we've got from them.
Yeah. I know, but
bring me one scientist that has complained about it.
Would you look at this BBC article that's on YouTube? Would you be willing? Do you have the courage, my brother?
Name me one scientist.
No, you don't. Hey guys. Papa was a rolling stone. Water doesn't stick to a rock. Water must be contained. We know this is basic science, basic simple science. If water is not contained, it flows down a hill, and guess what? When it gets to the next lake down a mountain, it's level, and that level is horizontal, parallel to the next lake, parallel to the next lake, and parallel to the ocean beneath it, aside from tidal movement. That's what we can demonstrate. You can't, as old as you are, you can't demonstrate to me that water is going to curve. I was 47 before I found this out. I raised my older children on the idea that they live on a globe. But of course we can't demonstrate that. Only our religions and sciences will tell you that you live on a globe. Water is level. Questions? What is level? Prove it otherwise. Prove it otherwise. You know, I can take this water bottle and we can agree. Sorry?
Are we arguing that it's not level?
Well, I can tell from your expression that this is hard for you to accept.
No, I don't know what you're saying. The water's not level.
No, I'm saying water is level.
No, it is level. But I'm saying.
Well, okay, so
who's saying it's not level?
Anyone who says they live on a globe.
I can't. What do you mean? It's the waves?
No, because a globe is a round ball, right? That's a globe, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get level on that? No. Because let me tell you.
100 miles, then maybe it will be a.
How much?
It might. What? I mean, okay. But at this at this much, you can't say, oh, is it?
But do you know, from a scientific point of view, you should be able to say,
if the water is in a square dish,
Yeah.
there's no
bending, no.
There's
It's going to be level from side to side. A big fish tank, super level from side to side. And I could have a 2-meter fish tank or a 200-meter fish tank, and I would be able to show you the same level across that. But when I was 47, about 7 years ago, I came across this formula for curvature on Earth. Well, believe me, if you look at that and think about it, you realize you can't. Pardon me?
How'd you come across it?
This is actually mainstream science on the internet. I came across it on the internet, but this is accepted. This is accepted science. If you live on a ball, even if it's only 25,000 miles around, which is what ours is, every ball has about the same diameter, same dimension. So whether it's a soccer ball, a golf ball, a cricket ball, it doesn't matter. They're all going to have the same ratio of traveling over the skin and losing height. If I've got a football on the ground and the football is, say, 12 inches high off the ground, and I've got about 25 inches to walk around the skin of the ball, then there's a certain amount of curvature, and that can be measured. This is the formula that we're given. I don't agree with it, but this is mainstream formula.
Where did it come from?
This is argued by people on Earth.
No, I'm not arguing.
This
I'm
is
just saying, where did they come from?
This is it's called spherical trigonometry. So it's not even a flat Earth thing. It's just spherical trigonometry. If you're really into maths, they will teach you spherical trigonometry, where you draw a circle, and they'll show you how much you've got to go down. If you live on a ball, you have to go down. If you live on a flat ocean, you don't have to go down. It's just perspective that makes things get smaller and appear to go down as they go further away.
Oh, you're trying to say the Earth is flat?
Yeah, I'm trying to say the water is flat. I'm trying to say the oceans, the water on our Earth is flat. Like I've been explaining, is that if I settle this bottle out, the bottle will be, we can prove and show the water bottle will be level. Now, if I had to make this bottle 100 miles long, I could do the same experiment. 1,000 miles long, 5,000 miles long, I could do exactly the same experiment. And water over from here to England to America, one level body of water, a little bit of tide. As you can see, this is moving around. If this was 1,000 miles, they would be big waves. But really the border is level. And if I had to say, as I say, if you come down from the top of the mountain and you come across a lake, that water is going to be level and horizontal to the next lake, and horizontal to the final lake, which we call ocean. And there's one ocean on Earth, and it's all connected. So there's one body of Earth. All mountains are given the same height above sea level. It doesn't matter what mountain you climb, 200 meters, 500 meters, India, South Africa, it doesn't matter. The height above sea level is the height above the same sea level on Earth. Yes, ma'am.
If Earth is not a globe, then what is it? Right?
We think that we live inside a globe. We live inside an electromagnetic bubble, and on the center plane of that is an accretion or creation disk. And on that creation disk, so I'll give you an example that you can look at in real life. Take an apple, slice it, put it on the table, slice it top to bottom, and let it fall open. On the inside, you'll find a look. I'm giving you something that you can test in science, in reality, you see, because you can't test. Whoa. Science is about observation and testing and measuring. Yes? Can you measure the globe? Can you prove that you live on a globe? Other than laughing is not science. Can you prove you live on a globe, my friends? No, you cannot.
It's just like making a theory and then making the evidence just to like...
Yeah, make the evidence fit. That's exactly what they did with the globe. Is that they've said, you see a ship going away when you're 7 years old, man. When you're 7 years old, they tell you can see a ship going over the horizon. Do you understand that? One of the best proofs that people who believe they live on a globe offer me is that the ship is going over the edge of the curve when it goes away. You haven't? Okay.
I don't agree with you, like completely.
Okay. Can you show me an example of water curving? Or can you show me what direction we're spinning in right now?
Why?
Because if you believe you live on a spinning rock, yeah, you should be able to just...
You're not like feeling the spin.
You're not feeling it. So is it spinning?
Yeah.
How? Do you know? How do you know?
Like...
How do you know?
I don't want to argue with you, like...
Because you don't know, ma'am. I asked ESA. I was in Italy and I came across ESA, a European Space Agency, and they came to me and said, I said to this very learned lady, I said, prove to me that the Earth is moving. She said, the sun is going across my sky. I said, yes, the sun is going across the sky. That doesn't mean the Earth is moving. Just because the ball is round doesn't mean that the earth is round. The pitch has got to be flat. Just because the ball is moving through the sky doesn't mean the stadium is moving. It's the ball that is moving. So we see the sun and the moon, they move through the sky every day, and they rise and they set every day, but that doesn't mean the earth is moving.
Not taking into consideration any of like arguments of other people.
Arguments or theories? See, I want proof.
You have a theory.
No, ma'am. I don't have to theorize that water is level. We say it in English. We say water level. And I gave you an experiment where I could show you 5 bottles stacked beneath each other, and each bottle would be parallel. The water would be parallel. No matter if I do this with a bottle, this with a bottle, this with a bottle, water will stay parallel to every other bottle of water. I could make this bottle 1,000 miles long, and I could still get the pipe to be perfectly level. If it was an oil pipe, I would lift it a little bit at that end, and the oil would rush down that side. Why? Because everything works perfectly on a plane. You cannot pump water up rivers, uphill. You cannot walk under a mountain. I know it's very hard. I know you've been brainwashed since you were young, but let me give you some information to take away from you. First, the truth is mocked and ridiculed. Have a good day. Any questions from you young ladies? Or gentlemen?
What are you actually saying?
I'm saying that our entire reality has been fabricated. It's almost...
Are you saying the earth is just flat?
Do you mean the land mass? When you say earth is flat, I'm saying the oceans are flat, a level, sea level. I'm saying that we live on a body which has a level water on it, and every mountain that has water above that level is horizontal to the same mean sea level. It's all oceans.
Is all land flat?
Of course not. Have you never climbed a mountain?
Is all land flat?
No, of course not. No, I'm talking about water, sir. No, we know that the land is undulating. We know that we have ravines and mountains. That's ridiculous to assume that I would think that the mountain... Sir, I'm 54 years old. Please don't be stupid with me. The land is moving. We have...
Get to the bottom of what you actually believe.
Sir, I said to you, are you not listening? The water is level. The land, of course, cannot be level, but the sea level at England's east coast is the same as the sea level at England's west coast. Do you think that there's a difference in that height? If you took a boat from the east coast to the west coast, do you think you'd be going downhill somehow? This is complete poppycock. And we've all been taught this nonsense from childhood. So we believe we live on some crazy globe when that makes no sense.
So all the sea level is the same, right?
Give or take tidal variation.
So if you're sitting on the sea and you're going either west or east, north or south.
Yeah.
All right. How far do you have to go for it not to be level?
It can never not be level, sir.
So
I mean, that's one second. It can never not be level.
So if Britain,
other than
if our little island,
yeah.
Let's say that it's just 10 foot above sea level.
Yes, we're about 40 meters above sea level now.
Let's just say it's 10 foot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're 10 foot above sea level.
At the beach.
At the beach. Right?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
At the beach. Okay.
You'd have to be at the beach. Yeah.
The beach of France.
Yeah.
Is also 10 foot above sea level.
The beach? No. So let's take tides out of the equation, okay? Because tide will obviously have a variation depending on where you are. But if I was able to take a bar across the 20-30 miles of the channel, a straight bar, I would be able to touch the beach at 6 foot and the beach at 6 foot in France. Absolutely. And we can take a powerful camera and see the beach across France. In fact, people know that they can see all of the towers, the White Cliffs of Dover from France.
These pictures here, these circles that you've got here, is that the Earth? Is that what the Earth looks like?
Of course not. That's a CGI, composite image given to you by NASA. If you went up high...
If you went up into the sky and looked back at the Earth, what would you see?
I think you would see, like, something like the United Nations logo. So, it's like, I think it's called a azimuthal equidistant projection. Pull it up, United Nations logo. This man will show you. It looks like that.
But when you look at the United Nations logo, you see all the continents together.
Except one.
Which one don't you see?
Antarctic.
So why don't you see that?
Ask them, not me. I didn't make the logo.
Well, where would you put it?
It may be, like people suggest, that the Antarctic ring is the surrounds of the lake that we live in.
So hold on.
What's outside that?
Sorry?
What's outside that?
Don't know. I don't make See, I used to believe in outer space because NASA and Disney told me that.
Right.
Now I don't believe in outer space. And so what's outside of that, I speculate might be water. Because like it says in the Bible, God separated the waters from the waters. And when we see how stars work in water, it might be that we're looking into water beyond that. That's why it's blue. But that's a theory.
Who does it benefit, us believing a lie?
The system, the controllers.
What do you think? Right, what does the controllers mean to you?
Religion, starting from Vatican, government, starting from Parliament, banking, history, all of the systems of control. Why? It's to demean who you are and what you are.
They couldn't control us even if we knew this?
No. Okay, so maybe not just flat Earth, because flat Earth on its own is just a gateway. We live where we live is sort of like a gateway. Now, when I found this 7 years ago, it was a gateway for me to leave my atheism behind, and also to start to look at why would they lie? What is it that they could be hiding from it, and why would it matter?
Sorry, do you believe Antarctica exists?
Yes.
Okay. That's the rim?
I don't believe that. No, I don't.
The rim?
Yeah, no, it's not my map.
Right.
But it's a map. I argue with a lot of flat earthers and say that I think that it might also be this other thing where it's like a tabletop, and that the sun travels across, let's say, the equator, the central point, warming that area, and then the furthest you go from the sun's point would be the cold bits. So that down the south would be southern Antarctic, and up the north would be a northern Antarctic, but that these are traveling across the sky. So logically, if I had to take an ice block and take a lamp, cross it across like this, a hot lamp, or take it in a circle map, which is how some people say it works. If I had to do that, then yes, I would get a melt area, and outside of that I would get a rim, if you like, and that would be the container. But that's theory. If it was, I think it would have been proven by now.
Why don't you just travel to Antarctica and see it for yourself?
Have you tried?
I haven't tried going to Antarctica, no.
So I've looked into it. I've been on the South African's icebreaker, the ship that goes down to the Antarctic, and I have spoken to crew on there. I was quite unimpressed. Unfortunately, it was just before I found this out, so I wasn't asking them the right kind of questions. What do I think about Antarctica? I think that we can take a boat there. It costs quite a lot of money. It has to be on a tour, and it's only one company, even though there might be 200 or 300 umbrella companies. They only really all apparently go back to one company who will authorize that tour. It will cost you a lot of money, and when you go on the tour, you will sign certain things, which means you cannot just take your own snowmobile there and fuck off for a month and just say, I'm going to go wherever I want. You're not allowed to do that. The Antarctic Treaty, which was signed in the 1950s by at least 12 countries originally, but is now signed by many countries, Russia, America, all at war with each other, say we will never go down there. You cannot go down there. What you can do is go on a little guided tour, maybe go 10 square miles or whatever, and tell your friends on Facebook that you've been to the South Pole. No, you haven't. As far as I can tell, we can go maybe 1,000 miles over the ice. But that's about it. Ranulph Fiennes, the British. Sir Ranulph Fiennes is a very well-known British explorer. And the reason why I was on that icebreaker ship, the South African ship called the Globalists, was because it was up here at the Thames, loading up for Ranulph Fiennes to go on a cross-Antarctic tour about 6-7 years ago. His tour was not to actually go 180 degrees across the center and come out the other side. It was really just to walk across the peninsula. It never happened. But what was interesting was his crew told me that it's taken Ranulph 5 years to get permission to take this trip. Now, you ask me, rather flippantly, why don't you just go down there? Now, hopefully I've given you some insight into it's not straightforward. After the 70th parallel, you can't fly a plane down there. There's guys with boats who, gung-ho, I'm going to take my sailboat down there, turned around by the military, the Navy. They'll come and find you. They've got enough radar down there, they will find you. So what is going on?
Of turning the boats around? The company or the military?
The military.
Which military?
Well, it depends on where. So because if it is like I think it is that if you take your, the wall map you were given in school, that's what I think the Earth looks like. That's what I think it looks like. And if you look at that, you got some cold bits at the top, and you got some cold bits at the bottom. And we're in South Africa, you can easily get to the ice, and it's only a few days sailing. South America, it's a bit further. That's why Falklands is so important to the British. And the Americans have got a place called Little America that they also sail down past South America to get to. So I think that it's the militaries of these countries. Remember, the signatories to to this agreement are all working to keep it as an exclusion zone. When a guy called Admiral Byrd, he was America's most celebrated admiral, spent 30 years there, and with these long reconnaissance flights, and he had a whole battle group. He had a carrier, planes, you name it. 30 years. He was originally in the North Pole. Then he goes to 30 years there, and in 55, 56, they do Operation High Jump. And the year after that, they close the Antarctic down and they sign this treaty. No one goes. But the year before, he was on CBS News in America saying, I've been down there. I found land bigger than America. I found resources that will last humanity lifetimes. Now, how can it be that there's resources, coal and all these other sorts of things down there, and none of the BP, Shell, and all those companies are in there trying to take that stuff up?
When you're talking about this stuff, just one guy's opinion doesn't hold much weight, or what one guy's account was.
But the American military,
I got some questions about the
30 years, let me just say, because it's not just one guy. He had 3 ticker tape parades given to him in America. You don't know anything about him. So let me tell you, he had 3 ticker tape parades given to him. He was the youngest admiral in the American fleet ever. And
his name was, sorry?
Admiral Byrd. Richard E. Byrd. Please look it up. He's credited with finding a hollow Earth or inner Earth in the North Pole. I'm not saying that that's true, but he's then given a brief to go and spend 25 years or so in and out of Antarctica. And after he completes that, they all hightail out of there, and no one's ever been back but for these very controlled things. Admiral Byrd, check it up.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying the map that we look at on a wall of the Earth usually shows America over in the west and Australia down in the south.
Correct,
Okay?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the Earth looks like that?
Possibly, yes.
So
some would say no.
So has the Earth got an edge there and an edge there?
I don't know.
You can get from America to Australia, right?
You can.
But without going across Europe?
No, but don't we? How do we fly that way, or how do the ships go that way? Have you looked into the shipping routes of that? And how do they go?
Go on a boat direct. If you believe that the Arctic was in the middle and the Antarctic formed a rim,
I don't believe that. But
the distances would be greater at the edge of the rim than at the beginning.
So
you could prove that easily.
Yeah, and actually, here's a great proof for you. Do you know the flight from Johannesburg to London?
No.
I do, because I just flew on it. It's 11 hours. Okay, and the flight from Johannesburg to Buenos Aires in Argentina. 15 and a quarter hours. Take a string on a globe or a map, I don't care, take it, and look how far the distance is from London to Johannesburg. Why not?
Go at different heights,
but it's just
speeds,
answered, my friend.
You can't just say an hour is an hour.
They may do, but we're talking about a 747 trying to do the best that it can, which is 500, 600 miles an hour.
Both the 747s?
Yes.
They go to the same altitude, they fly at the same speed.
I'm talking about a very big difference in flight time. And when you look at the distance, you go, no, that's the shortest distance. It should be 9 hours based on that. So it actually plays into this idea. There's also sailors who used to say, it's taking me 10 days longer to sail to from here to there. And you know, when I was a kid and they started, the Argentinians used to fly in for rugby for the Tri-Nations, or they call it, they'd have to fly the Argentinians up into the Americas or into Europe to fly them to South Africa. It's like, why are you not just flying straight across here? The same with the flying from America. It's like, why do you not fly straight from Texas to Africa like that? But instead we fly up and then down. Same with Australia. For so long, South Africans flew up into Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and then into the northern hemisphere to get back to the southern hemisphere. It's only since the advent of new planes that have greater range that they're able to do these southern flights. But a lot of the southern flights have not been happening until very recently.
I get that you're speaking and you have a lot to say, but you cover a lot of points very briefly.
I know. Well, I'm just giving you, so I can't teach you, brother. You're going to have to work this out yourself. I had to go and spend, literally, I gave up my family and I was spending 18 hours a day just studying this stuff for years, well, maybe a year. And
is this all yours?
No, this is a friend of mine's banner. He unfortunately, he made it a few years ago. I found it at Glastonbury the other day, but the spelling errors are not mine and the grammar is not mine.
So do you believe that the planet's actually bigger than the next you say? Yeah, here it's actually bigger. In landmass.
The primary thing here is the Earth. Everything else is subject to that. So the sun and the moon are small lights within the system, and the stars are even smaller.
Within what system?
Within the electromagnetic egg, within the Taurus system that we're in.
believe
So
the Earth is spinning, rotating?
not at all. Do you?
Have you been to the Science Museum where they have the weight on the string?
It's called a Foucault's
Eventually
pendulum.
moves around.
Foucault's pendulum.
And the reason for that is because the Earth is spinning.
So we're told. But if that were true, then if you go past these big cranes they got in London, when the guy leaves it for the weekend, if that were true, those should start to move too.
Not if there's no initial momentum.
Pardon?
And there's a heavy
Oh,
weight.
so there's an initial momentum. Why?
For that, yeah.
Gee, that's the lie with Foucault's pendulum, is
How
it
would
needs
you
an
explain
initial
it?
momentum.
How would you explain it?
The Foucault's pendulum?
Yeah.
Well-
Why does it swing?
Process.
In a circle?
It's the way of the procession, hey?
Why does it do that?
I can't remember. I had an answer for that, but I can't remember. But just to say that that's proof of the spinning globe, could you tell me which direction we're spinning in right now? Point to it right now. Where's the direction we're spinning in?
Just because I can't do that.
You can't, because if we were spinning, we as
You're the one
sentient
saying this.
beings.
I kind of feel
No,
like
I'm
I've
saying,
disproved it.
Root, I'm saying that we're not moving, which is what your senses just told you. You're not moving. You can't point to the direction of movement.
No, I've been brought up on this Earth. I've known it.
Yeah.
If it stopped moving, I'd notice. If it accelerated, I'd notice. There's no change.
There is constant acceleration in this globe model. Why? Because we're actually going around in an ellipse. So when I'm traveling that way and I have to come this way, then there is a huge amount of acceleration.
My senses won't tell me.
Can't be constant because we're in an ellipse. So actually we're turning at the same time as changing direction, and at the same time as doing that, the sun is moving through the galaxy. Did you know that we're moving at over 1 million miles an hour, apparently, according to the belief that I'm trying to... I'm saying the Earth is not moving. The Quran will say the Earth is not moving. The Old Testament says the Earth is set upon pillars and not
If
moving.
we stand
Good
here
luck.
and look at the sun
Yes.
over there
Yeah.
in the morning,
Yeah.
and in the evening it's over there.
Correct.
Where is it before it comes over there?
What about anybody who's ever
I don't know. It arrives there,
Yeah, where
like you
does it arrive
said,
from?
from the east.
The east is over there.
What? Then
So
you
how does
pointed
it
the
get
wrong
from there
way.
to there?
No, it comes from the east, right? So it goes to the west. Right, sun rises in the east. Let's just get the basics
sorry,
right.
sorry, yeah,
Okay, so it rises in the east. Sun rises. I see it lifting in the sky, and then I see it traveling over my head, and then I see it setting. Is there any part of that you disagree with?
No. What I'm
So
saying
no. Let me simplify. Let me simplify. No. Let me simplify and say that if a
before you
footballer,
see it in the morning
yeah,
in the east,
yeah.
where was it?
Well, let's just say I was able to phone a friend of mine in Germany. Yes? An hour before the sun got to me, it got to my friend in Germany, yes?
If you say so. I think
You
Germany-
haven't travelled
I
much,
think,
sir.
I think Germany is a lot more than 1 hour away.
It's about 1 hour away with the daylight saving at the moment. I was talking to someone in Germany recently. They're 1 hour away, yeah? But let's not squabble. What you're wanting to do is be obtuse, sir. You must know, surely you must know that if you go back east, travel 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 time zones, 6 times Mecca, yeah? They're seeing the sunrise, they're seeing midday when you're seeing sunrise. You know that, right? How does that work? How is that all explained? Well,
Because of the position of the Earth.
Pardon me?
Because of the position of the Earth.
Well, we're taught that because of the way that the Earth is turning against the stationary sun, which is heliocentrism. It's sun worship repackaged for a modern culture. So they love to get us to worship the sun and think that the sun is more superior than us, but it's not. Earth is what God created first. The sun and the moon are lights for you. They are your lights that guide you through the day and the night. This idea that it's one ball of hotness that is out there waiting and that we're spinning on it doesn't add up at all for me.
The sun rises in the east over there.
Okay.
And it sets in the west over
Yes,
there.
yes.
And it takes 12 hours roughly to get from there to there.
Depends on the season.
Yeah, I know, but let's say in the middle of the season.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
It takes 12 hours to get from
Yes.
there to there.
Yeah.
Where is it for the other 12 hours?
It's other parts of the Earth. So even on a
That's the Earth.
Okay.
You're saying that that's the Earth.
No.
We're all flat.
Yeah, but no, if it's only got a 12-hour span, like you said, then it can't cover
Well, no, it's not
24
like I
hours.
said.
Wait,
You could time it yourself.
I'm trying to
It takes
answer
12
it.
hours.
So it might take 10 hours, it might take 16 hours, depending on where you are. You know that, right? And in winter time, it's even less time that it takes to rise and set.
Yeah, well, we're
None of
talking
that,
average here.
none of that makes sense on a globe that's spinning at the same speed, by the way. But anyway, let's leave that to one side. What we know is we have time zones on this Earth, and that the sun's light is only able to illuminate up to about half of the Earth at any given time. The same with the moon. So it's traveling over. Let's just say, keep it simple, that this is China, this is India, this is Japan, and that's America, and it's traveling across this space, a wave or a light, it doesn't matter. Something is traveling across this space, and as it arrives within my dome, within my space, I see it appearing to rise up and then move over me. And if I had to have the speed of, say, I could travel the speed of a Concorde, I could probably delay that by traveling in the direction of the sun. But for me, the flat Earth I have no problem with it being a small light, like the Bible says, a small light that illuminates day and it goes away and then it's nighttime and there's no light. I have no problem with that. Is it all connected and is it moving constantly? Yeah, possibly, but I can't prove that.
Yeah, but if it's rising over there and it goes in an arc to over there, where is it when it's not up there?
I think we're getting into like a deeper stuff. Firstly, let's say that what you just described perfectly proves what I was trying to say to you earlier on, is that if the goalkeeper punts the ball from one goal to the other side, it doesn't mean that the earth moved, right? It means that you watched in the stadium, you watched the ball go from ground level up to high in the middle and then drop down at the bottom, yeah? Can you accept that?
Yeah, but it starts at one end and goes to the other.
Correct, but that doesn't mean that...
You're not looking at it.
But can we agree that the pitch didn't move?
No.
The stadium does not move when the footballer kicks the ball. Well, if God kicks the football, the sun, and it goes over your head, doesn't make you moving. It means that the light is moving. So let's get that out of the way. Secondly, when it comes to the way that the light works...
The light is moving.
It's
gone from there to there. It doesn't go back again.
No, it doesn't.
Where does it go?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, for me, I think that we live in some sort of electromagnetic toroidal system, right? So everything is doesn't mean okay. Do you know what a donut looks like?
Exactly. So you see what sort of donut?
Well, a donut with a hole in it.
Right.
Yeah, a ring donut. And if you had to put like an hourglass inside of that and make the ring donut just sit around where the hourglass pinches. Now we're starting to talk about an apple-shaped electromagnetic toroidal system. And in an electromagnetic toroidal system, you get these pulsing electromagnetic effects, which we think might be how our sun is explained, that within your sphere that you live in, because where you are in, you have a sphere of observance, I call it like a Pyrex dish, a large Pyrex dish over you. And as you move through this environment, that Pyrex dish continues to recenter itself on you. This is where relativity is right, is that the sun and the moon will always align themselves on you, which is why...
You're not telling me where the sun's gone when you don't see it.
Well, I think that the sun has moved away from your point of reference.
Moved away to where?
Further west.
So it just keeps going west?
It'll keep going west.
Well, if it keeps going west, how's it going to come up in the east?
Yeah, I know you wanted to ask me that question. Well, so there's a couple of theories on that, but I can't be certain and I can't answer that question. I have a theory that says that that it's like a heartbeat. That it's like a wave that pulses out of the east and then rises and comes from the east across the plains of the earth, illuminating our day and then giving us what we see as sun. That's what I think. So it can be like a heartbeat. You know, like an ECG. You'd understand an ECG monitor, the pulse is always coming from the one side. People are not asking the question, is that going around the back again? No, you know that it's just an electric pulse, and as each one fires over, that just follows itself over the screen. It follows itself over the screen, right? Coming east to west. So in an electromagnetic system, I allow for that as a possible way. But the mainstream sort of flat Earth society way of saying it is that it's a circling thing, and that our Earth, our map is like the map I described earlier on, the United Nations logo, and it simply does a circle in 24 hours, and it can illuminate about 12 hours of space or 12 time zones at any one time.
It goes across the sky.
Yes, but have you well, yes, sir, but have you noticed that in the summertime, it's not east to west, it's very northeast, it's a very northwest.
The Earth is at a tilt, and we're going round the sun.
Yeah, I used to believe all that Bochum too, but let me tell you that if that were true, then that light would not be able to illuminate the southern hemisphere in the way that I observe it.
So why is it then, if we're not moving, why is it in the winter the sun is very low on the horizon, and in the summer it's straight above us?
Okay.
And then it starts going back down again.
So do you understand that if you were standing on the equator at equinox, the sun would be directly above you?
Yes.
And then when it moves into the Tropic of Cancer, we get our summertime. Yes, and when it moves into Capricorn, we get our winter time.
why does it do that?
So why does it do that?
If we're flat,
Yeah.
why is it moving like that?
No, it's not moving like that, sir. It's moving away from you. You understand that if a 747 jet had to fly over our heads now at 35,000 feet and travel away from us, would you recognize, sir, that would appear to be going down?
Sorry, say that again?
Would you recognize, sir, that a plane at 35,000 feet cruising across our heads, going away from us, would appear to be joining the horizon, blowing down?
Yes.
Would you notice that these clouds here, although they're at 500 meters or whatever height they are, appear to be joining the horizon in the distance? But intelligently you know, sir, that they're at the same height. It's just a matter of perspective and angular resolution that brings them to the ground. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Right. So it may be that when the sun is in its winter time for us here in the northern hemisphere, it is in Capricorn, furthest away from us, therefore lowest in the sky, whilst in Cancer it's closest to us and it gets about 85 degrees up into the sky. I can't answer these questions. These are seasonal. You see, nature needs seasons, right? Don't you know that life? No, sir. But your questions, I can never answer them satisfactorily to someone who wants to believe something else.
I don't want to believe anything. I'm just telling you what I see. I see the sun coming up there and going down.
But do you want to believe that it's the Earth that's moving?
I think, to me, it makes sense that the Earth is moving.
That's a belief, though, because we've spent for 20 minutes trying to demonstrate that the Earth is not moving.
But the sun has gone down over there,
Yes.
and the next morning, 12 hours later, it's up over there.
Yes.
How's it got from there to there?
Yeah, well, we used to believe when we were brainwashed that it was that the Earth was spinning.
How has it got from there to there?
Let's get into the debate about how it might be working once we've got over the basics. The basics are that water is level and we can't prove that we're moving. That's the basics. Get over that and then we can talk about how it might theoretically work, because at the end of the day, I cannot offer you a conclusive proof. All I can offer you is that water is level. All bodies of water can be measured to be level. Why are you shaking your head? You want to show me that? Show me water that's curving on its surface, a body of water.
Water does not find its own level.
Water doesn't find its own level. More intelligence. Let's go for it. Show me. Prove it.
If you've got differential air pressures, where whenever you've got wind, you've got differential air pressure.
You're changing the environment. But hold on. You're changing the environment. But if I did increase the pressure on two bottles, I got one bottle with zero pressure and another bottle with an increased pressure. The bottle with increased pressure would press that water down. Okay?
Same if the salinity was different. If the temperature is different, you would get a different level.
But there's a surface. The level might change, but there's a surface that is parallel to the other body.
I have no idea what you just said.
All right. I'm at school now. This body of water, I could get another 3 bottles, stack them above each other, one above each other, and I could demonstrate to you that when at rest, these 3 or 4 bodies of water are parallel with one another. Do you understand what that means?
With respect to one another.
With respect to one... Wait, yes or no? Are they parallel? Are the bodies of water resting parallel? Yes or no, sir?
No.
Demonstrate that. What?
They're not perfectly flat.
They're not perfectly flat. Why not?
Because there is a difference. There is a curvature of the planet which can be demonstrated across that.
How?
There's a meniscus. Once you get over that, you can use...
meniscus is not curvature. Meniscus is surface tension. No. You're offering me an answer that says globe.
Meniscus, you can actually detect curvature on the surface of water.
And how much curvature would you get over a mile?
You'd have to calculate out.
You don't know. Again, you're just repeating belief. Bullshit that you do not know.
Per mile bullshit, because that doesn't wash.
That doesn't wash either. I don't believe that either. But that's given to us by the globe believers, right? That's the globe story. I don't think it washes.
Flawed maths that
What I say to people is that if we live on a ball, the dimensions of a ball, the amount you curve and so on is the same no matter what the ball size. It's a perfect sphere is going to have the same amount of drop and curve no matter the size of the ball.
So what happens when you get...
So let me tell you this, so I could take this water bottle and make it 100 miles long, turn it into an oil pipeline. Guess what? If this perfectly level, my oil will not pump unless I pump it. If I tip it slightly, the oil will run downhill. We know that, right? So before you start interject with your belief, let me tell you that if I made this 1,000 miles long, it would still be provably level.
You have to account for the curvature of Earth when you build things like airports, docks, things like that. Because if you don't, you have problems.
So
water in the middle of large flat surfaces like aprons on runways.
No, okay, the apron on the runway needs to be level, yeah?
Locally level, yes.
Locally level, what does that mean?
Well, when you're sitting in the middle of it, if it's level, the edges are going to be higher. So when it rains, you get a big pool of water in the middle.
Uh-huh. And what do they use to build these things? Is it a spirit level, perhaps, and a plumb line?
Laser level.
A laser level. That's even better, because we've used laser levels to fire over lakes 10 miles long, and we can see the other person. The laser will shoot across the water perfectly level, no curvature. They say 800 inches at 10 miles. I think it should be much more if we live on a globe. Well, think about it, right? If it's true that it's, you know how big the Earth is, right? I don't need to tell a believer like you. What's the radius?
It's about 6,500 miles.
Okay, it's about 8,000 miles, 4,000 miles, 6,500 k's, I think, is the radius. The diameter is 8,000 miles. So from the top of the globe to the bottom is 8,000 miles.
Is this your diameter, or are you talking about your flat Earth?
Diameter of the globe, your globe. Your globe. You should know all this already. But so it's 25,000 miles around the skin, right? That's what they tell us. Don't squint your eyes like that. If you don't know your belief, sir, you're really on shaky ground. It's 24,900 miles, all right?
That's the circumference of the equator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, but does that not look like a perfect wall to you? I mean, let's be honest, my friend. Is that not a perfect round circle that someone's taken a protractor and just gone, there it is, or a compass, and just drawn a circle? Does that not look like a circle to you? So if I say a disc, I like that. If I say it's 25,000 miles, if I say it's 25,000 miles around the equator, it must be there or thereabouts from top to bottom, hey? Like all the way around. If I went from North Pole to South Pole, it must be about 25,000 all the way around. So I say to people that if it's a almost perfect ball, and it's 12,500 miles from top to bottom, but I'm going to go down 8,000 miles, then there's a 12 and 8 ratio that you need to allow for. So for every 12 meters you walk, you should lose 8 meters of height if you lived on this magical Disney ball that you believe in. That's what I say. So there's no curvature.
What is the diameter of your flat Earth?
I don't have one.
Edge to edge.
I don't have one.
You have no idea?
I wouldn't say I had no idea, but there's a theory that says it's about 60,000 miles around based on Captain Cook's logs, because he spent 60,000 miles traveling around Antarctica, but it's only 12,000 miles, so how did he do that?
So you're a massive fly in your ointment right there.
Why?
Well, if you say 60,000, you say 12,000, so you're out of view.
I'm saying, no, I didn't say 60,000. You must listen to what I'm saying. Captain Cook said 60,000, not me. No, your belief says it's 12,000. Your religion says it's 12,000 around the Antarctic coastline. But of course, that we can't prove. I think from Australia, South Africa, and South America, you can reach Antarctica, but that's the only way you can get to Antarctica.
Okay, there's a pilot actually organising a flight from South America across to Sydney, to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay? He's inviting you guys along.
Yeah?
You go?
Yeah, I'd go.
Right.
I'd go. Is he paying?
No.
I got to pay.
Well, I mean, it's your theory that you're trying to prove.
It's not my theory, bro. I don't have a theory. It's you who has the theory of gravity, the theory of relativity, the theory of Darwinism. All of these things are the theory of the Big Bang. All of these bullshit theories, huh?
You've got a theory.
Yeah, but I don't base my worldview on that. You see, I don't base my worldview on it.
Yes, you do. You say
your theory. Of course, it's your worldview.
That's not a theory, guys. The water is level. You say this every day of the week. Water's not level. Water is not level. The sea is not level.
Your theory is the Earth is flat. That's your theory.
No, I have theories about how the flat Earth works, but sea is level. That's not theory. Everyone says that in English. And as I've said, but you boys don't want to accept this, water will come to rest level. No matter what the undershape of the container, it will come to a rest level. Hard to accept. Oh, you. I mean, flat. You see, but flat is a subjective thing. Hey, because at the end of the day, waves, tidal movement, pressure, as you said earlier on, with you saying that once you put great oceans under pressure, high pressure, low pressure systems, you're going to get swells, you're going to get tide, you're going to get these movements. By the way, if the moon was creating our tides, can you explain why the Great Lakes have no tides?
Well, they do. No,
they don't.
You have tides on Caribous, and you have tides on the Great Lakes.
No, you don't. No. I had a guy here the other day who said, I lived on the lakes. Yes, it's true, there are no tides.
They are tides.
No, again, what we're talking about is pressure over a vast body of water. So different sort of... No, all sorts of things. Tide and pressure over a system is not the same.
So you've got nothing else?
There's no tide. No, there's no tide in these waters, and in the Scandinavian Ocean, in the Sea of Sweden, there are no tides. And if the moon was pulling the ocean, as they say, then there should be tides in these bodies of water too. There should also be a bulge near the equator where the tide, where the drag or the draw of this moon should be greater.
So how do you explain the tides being exactly synchronous with the moon?
And they're not exactly synchronous, and there's plenty of observations that are not. And you know what is interesting is that we've got in say the Seychelles, where they've got almost no tide at all, and in England they've got like 15, 20-foot tides, right? And if the moon is where they say it is, there should not be that disparity. So I'll do that. Why do I want to not believe that I live on a globe?
Yeah, why do you want to believe that the Earth is flat?
No, it's not that I want to believe the Earth is flat. I just don't want to believe bullshit that liars teach me and my children to diminish us and diminish God. Because at the end of the day, what all of this Darwinism does... Are you kidding me? Do you really think that God was going to just throw 14 billion years ago a grenade into a scrapyard and think a Ferrari's going to drive out the other side? Because that's what Big Bang says. A grenade went off, shit happened, and here you are, Ferrari. No, that's not designed. Well, because the globe comes from the heliocentric Big Bang model. You cannot have a globe without the Big Bang. I'm sorry. Well, how did the globe in science come to be?
I've no idea.
Oh.
I'm not God.
No, I'm just talking about what the science religion would teach you. So what the science religion would teach you.
Science teaches you all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah. And this is one of those things that somehow an explosion occurred and then all of this beauty happened. And not only that this beauty can happen without a containment. We know that through thermodynamics, pressure requires containment. And so we say that the Old Testament and others are right when they say that there has to be a roof. God intended for there to be a skin over your body, a bark over the tree, a peel on the orange, and a roof or a firmament, as it says in the Bible, over our dome, flat terrarium.
So the roof that we see or whatever is a dome?
Possibly.
Why is it a dome?
I know, I didn't say it was a dome. Don't be so foolish, my friend. I'm offering you ideas, theories. You see, I can tell when I'm offending your religion when ideas that I throw and say, hey, what if it's this? What if it's that? It can't be this. I don't know what the roof is.
Right, you don't offend my religion because I haven't got one.
Well, when you believe in a globe,
you're
in a religion.
Flat,
yes.
What shape is it?
Well, I offer it to people more like this. Take something you can find in nature, like an apple, cut it down the center.
I'm asking you what
open that up.
Is. Never mind about an apple that you cut down.
Well, I think it's an electromagnetic toroidal egg.
What shape is it?
An egg. The universe that we live in is a bubble or an apple, an orange, just like we see in nature.
But they're all spherical.
They are.
But you're saying the Earth is not a sphere.
Well, it depends on what part of it you're talking about. So the universe.
No, it's a sphere or it's not.
No, well, okay. Does the fruit? I see you giggling like a child. Does the fruit live on the outside or the inside of the skin? I know, it's hard for you. Does the fruit grow on the outside of the peel or on the inside, protected inside the peel? I'm talking
the seed or the fruit.
The fruit.
The fruit.
Yes. Inside the fruit is the seed. What is the seed if not the seed? If you cut the fruit open and you find those seeds, are they not possibly the continents? And is that not fruit that possibly are seas and our atmosphere above us? This is what I think that the Earth...
Why are you using something like an apple, which is a sphere, to represent the Earth, which you say is not a sphere?
Okay, the Earth that we walk on, that's why you're not listening to me. See, if you cut the apple open... Thank you. If you cut the apple open... of course I'm not making any sense. I'm trying to talk about level water, which is so hard for you to understand. But if you cut the apple open, I'm offering you something in nature that you can test for yourself. This belief that we can live with just gravity holding our atmosphere in. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish. When I'm saying that in nature, I can show you apples and round things, but the fruit isn't on the outside. Just like I'm saying, we're not on the outside of the apple. Yes. So our universe is, I'm shrinking it down to a fruit. Yes. So our universe that we see all the stars and everything around, a fruit. And inside that fruit, which is why you need to cut it open for this example, it's science. When you open it up, you'll see a little pocket inside, and the pocket is holding seeds. And those seeds, when you drop the apple open, are what I believe is our Earth. We live on seeds. No, of course they're not. The rocks, I've told you this many times. How many times must I say this? I've climbed mountains. I know that if I leave the East Coast, I've got to go a period up. And when I get to West Coast, I will have come down, whether it's 100 meters that I went up. When I get to the West Coast, I will go down 100 meters. I know that.
But what shape is the Earth? What shape is it?
What, I mean, do you mean the continents? I don't understand your question. Because you're talking about Earth being dirt, ground, ocean.
You're saying
be
when
clear.
we see the map of the world that we see on a wall,
Yeah.
it's a flat thing.
Yeah.
You have America in the west.
Yeah.
You have Australia in the south.
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
all flat.
Yeah.
And you're saying the Earth is flat.
Yeah, it might look like a
Well, what
Mercedes
shape
logo.
is it?
If you were to fly above the Earth, you would look down, like it says in the Bible, on the circle of the Earth, and it would be like, possibly the continents would be like a Mercedes logo. But if you cut through a fruit, you see the same sort of layout, like a 3 or 4 or 5 seeds that are arranged around each other in a fruit. This is what we see in nature.
Now, if you're looking down on the Earth,
I need to have a smoke.
What shape are you looking at? If you're looking down on the Earth from up in the sun.
Well, if you've ever flown, the higher you go, the more you lose relief, right? Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes, I know. I'm not
You
talking
understand
about
that?
relief. I'm talking about the shape of the Earth.
What?
shape are you looking at?
Is it a flat disc?
No, I don't know.
But what shape is it?
Well, I can only tell you what I've seen, and that is from high altitude balloons. We can get about 100,000 feet up, and from there everything just looks flat. Now the continents themselves, the rocks, the land masses, they're going to have a particular shape. It may look like the flat map. It may look like a different map. I don't know. I'm not invested too much in that. But what you're going to be looking down on is it's almost like I've taken my orange, cut it in half, opened it up, and I'm looking down. And what do I see? I see seeds with massive seas. 70 or 80% of our Earth, known Earth, is water.
If you look down on a piece of fruit that you've just cut in half, if you're high enough and you look down and you see the whole of that fruit, piece of fruit, you'll see a shape to it.
A roundness, yeah.
So what shape is the Earth?
So I haven't been that high.
Well, it's your theory. Surely you must know.
Okay, we've had enough time today. We've had enough time. How could you're wanting me to tell you things that I can't prove so that you can rebut me?
I don't know why you want to
I'm not that foolish, sir.